I'm going to hit record real quick. All right. So Lily's challenge is time. Melissa, what's your biggest challenge right now?
Biggest?
Your biggest challenge right now?
Balancing my schedule.
Balancing your schedule. Tell me more about that. What does balancing your schedule mean to you?
Well, making sure I get all the things done that I need to do, work, personal, kids, and still maintain a level of even mental health.
little Melissa time in there as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's always mine. I'm always tweaking, changing. It's always different. Every season is different.
We have to be fluid, right? We have to be fluid in how that whole thing's. We just have to make sure we focus on the things that have to be done. Do you guys remember have you guys ever heard, it's Franklin Covey, and it is the big rocks. Do you guys know that demonstration that he does with big rocks? And he takes a glass vase and he puts it on the thing, and he starts off, he fills it up with puts big rocks in. And he says, well, is there room here for more? And everybody says, well, yeah, there's some room in there for us. So then he puts some smaller size rocks in there and he fills it all the way to the top. And then he says, well, is there room for any more? And everybody says, no, it's full. And then he takes out pebbles and he dumps the pebbles in, and the pebbles filter in all around the rocks, the medium-sized rocks and the small rocks. And then he says, okay, is it full? And they say, yes, it's full. And he says, well, wait a minute. And he puts in some sand and the sand all fills in. And then he asks them, does it full? And they say, yes, it's full for sure this time. And then he takes out water and he fills it and he puts water in it too. So he's got the big rocks, the medium rocks, the pebbles, the sand, and the water, and he puts it all in there. So then he takes all of that out, and in equal amounts, he reverses the order. He puts the water in, then he puts the sand in, and it's filling up. Then he puts the pebbles in, and it's completely full. And he still has the medium rocks and the big rocks that won't fit in, because it's all about the order that you put them in the jar. So Melissa, what I hear you saying is that you got to figure out what your big rocks are. Yeah. Right. Make sure you put them in the jar first. And then that solves both your time, your challenge, Lily, and Melissa's challenge of time, because we've made sure we've done the important things that we have to do. There's the other things that we want to do, but it's really identifying the big things, those big rocks. So Melissa, what are your big rocks?
Closing transactions.
Closing transactions. What does it take in order to close a transaction? Are there more big rocks that make up that one?
Yeah, like lead follow-up, lead generation, all the things that we have to do on a daily basis equals closing.
Yeah. So the 5 things that we have to do every day to be successful that Gary's identified for us: lead generation, lead follow-up, a little bit of practice, building our skills, script practice, role play, conversation practice, going on appointments, right? You have to go on appointments before you can have a closing, and then negotiating contracts. Those are the 5 things. So those are your business big rocks. Then what are your other big rocks, Melissa? You mentioned your children.
My kids and their needs.
And you mentioned Melissa.
Yeah, just making sure that I'm not over scheduling myself, because if I get overwhelmed, then none of the big rocks get entered.
You know that I never really thought of it too much, because I in my prior life I flew a lot. I had a job that I traveled a lot, and I heard the stewardesses say all the time, you know, if the air masks fall from the top, you know, secure yours first before helping other people. And I'd heard that so many times. And then I heard somebody make the analogy that this is our life, right? If we don't take care of ourselves, then we aren't around to take care of other people. So it's an important thing to remember. So Melissa, I would challenge you to figure out what that big rock for Melissa might be. Because you said not over scheduling yourself, but what do you do for yourself every day to take care of yourself?
There's not a lot of space left for extra big rocks.
I know you were working on a habit like last year about walking. Have you started back the walking? Are you still doing the walking?
I've fallen off the walking wagon, but
fallen off the walking wagon.
I do have a plan. As school starts in 2 weeks, and I can add that to my routine easily then.
All right, that'd be a good big rock to put in. Love
Yes.
it. All right, Shauna, what is your biggest challenge for right now for yourself?
Oh yeah, my biggest challenge is like trying to figure out what's the most important thing to do first. Like, you know, I like what you just said, that analogy you just used. But I think I feel like I do take care of me, but when it's like, I guess I don't. It's really hard for me to prioritize a little bit, maybe because I just feel like everything is a priority, and so I don't. It's hard for me to put things in perspective in terms of what's the most important thing, and I'm taking on everything as if it is the most important thing.
Yeah, I imagine everybody's nodding. We all have a tendency to do that, right? We have a tendency to do that. What's some questions that we can ask ourselves when we feel like there's so many things that need to be done? What's some questions that we can ask ourselves to prioritize?
I don't know. That's my problem.
Well, hi, can I give you an example? I'll start. How about, is this dollar productive? Is doing this activity going to get me to my goal? Right? There's two questions. Is a dollar productive, and is doing this going to get me to my goal? Those be good questions to ask yourself. If it's going to make you money and it's going to get you closer to your goal, then would it be a priority?
And so I guess with me, like Carla, like right now, my husband is the pastor of our church, and we have campers here, and like the Village Project, and you know how how important the children in our community are to me. Like, they are very important to me, even though there's no money that I'm getting from this, but it's like, it's a major priority for me. But my real estate business is like, I mean, I'm not complaining, but I have like really, and literally like 7 people that I'm working with, and I'm showing houses like all day in between what I'm doing with the children. And so I've gotten just a little bit overwhelmed, but not in a bad way, like I'm ready to, just frazzle out. But I just know I need to put things in perspective. But I know I can't really give up on this thing. And so I'm just really trying to balance it out, and not get overwhelmed to where everything fails, because I've gotten so overwhelmed and I'm not able to give 100% in the areas that I need to really give 100%, because I'm trying to balance everything.
I love what you said there. When we get overwhelmed, we have a tendency to shut down, right? And Shauna, what you're saying is you have two things. Both questions that I gave you applies, right? My real estate business is making my money and it moving me towards a goal. And then I have another goal that maybe not be making me money, but it's still just equally as important, or, it's still an important goal in my life. So we have these two things. So now what we have to do, what's the tool that we have that we can use so that we make sure that if we have two big things that we need to focus on, what's the thing that we can focus on to make sure we spend time in both?
Ourselves.
Ourselves, yes, but where do we put these things so we make sure we have enough time and we allocate enough time for everything that we need to do?
On a calendar?
On a calendar, yeah, we got a time block. Right. So we would have time blocks for our real estate business and time block for our projects or other things that are important, and make sure we have those time blocked and that we honor those time blocks. So if we say that I'm going to spend 4 hours a day on my real estate business, and these are the 5 things I need to do in those 4 hours, we don't let the other blend in, right? We honor those time blocks. So, and some of this boils down to habits, right? We have to have good habits. We have good habits that we do consistently every day, then we're a little bit better to stay on track. So Shauna, I would say to you, probably the first thing that you might consider is a time block. What does that look like? And then the second thing we need to look at when we get overwhelmed and too busy is leverage. Right? So leverage. So Melissa, how have you added leverage into your business? I know you've been working on that in the last few months.
I haven't had a chance to implement it yet, but I am going to have some of my family help me with tasks like database stuff for my son, who's good with computers, and my mom likes to send handwritten notes, so she volunteered to do that. And then I am partnering with a lender to help me do some buyer presentations online. And once I get that up and going, that'll be a once a month or something kind of situation I can do for lead gen and just conversations. But also I was gonna say, helping those kids at the Bible camp is also not officially dollar producing, but it's a great opportunity to meet their families, get involved in their lives, and network. So you might find that more fruitful than you expect, even though you're not doing it for that reason.
Very, very good. I love it when we do things
Absolutely.
for the right reason, then all kinds of good things come to us, don't they?
Yeah.
All right, Jay, what's your biggest challenge right now? He's got that smile going on. He's getting ready
I
to
was trying
drop
to figure
it.
it out. I was thinking my biggest challenge is still same thing with Melissa and what Lily said, you know, and it's just time. But I was gonna say focus, but I'm in the station. I'm in the station right now, and I'm trying to onboard all of my new people. That's what I'm doing.
All right.
Onboarding.
Onboarding. So tell me a little bit more about what you mean by that.
So it's I don't know, I don't want to say I'm having a problem not getting clients or it's the education part with the interest rate and getting them to understand where they need to be. So the onboarding part, that's what I mean. I'm in education mode now for some reason.
So creating a sense of urgency for your buyers, is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, ma'am. Something like that. Yeah, something like that. I had a couple of different things I was thinking about while everybody was talking. But it's mainly that I'm in the station. I've got a, you know, as I look, I've got 3 people that I'm working with, 4 people I'm working with. I've got 3 listings, you know, so it's like, okay, but I feel like I'm just sitting still. So
You're
that's
in
where
the
I'm.
station, you're just trying to figure out how to get them on the train.
Yeah, I'm trying to validate their tickets, and I'm the ticket man. Where I'm punching tickets. This ain't the right ticket. You know, get out of it. So
Right.
I'm
So what do you find is their biggest is your client's biggest hurdle right now?
I almost said the first thing came to my mind was accountability. Was I'm not holding them accountable enough. And I want to I stick with that answer.
All right. So tell me what you mean by that.
accountable.
So you're not holding them
Um,
accountable. So you're telling them, for instance, you need to get with a lender and they're not doing it, or?
Well, it's like, I kind of feel like I always say my key thing is to be aggressive. But it's like, how much aggressive can I tell somebody, hey, you've been approved. This is where, if you say you want to be here and this is what the market says, okay, you need to be at this point. But if you say you got the money, let's go here. Okay, let's look. You
Let me
know,
ask
I've
you a
got,
question. If you were to ask somebody this question, see, we want to help them self-discover, right?
Mhm.
We tell
Yes.
them something, right? Melissa, if you tell your kids to do something, what's the likelihood they're going to do it? But if you help them self-discover that it needs to be done, are they more likely to do it? It's just human nature, right? So Jay, we know that the feds are going to meet again, right? They're going to meet again in 3 weeks. I think it's 3 weeks, right? And the experts say that they're going to increase the interest rate another 0.75%. Okay. So would you like to buy your home now while the interest rate's still low, or would you like to wait until the feds increase it again and buy then? which would be better for you? Would you like to have a lower payment or a higher payment? That helps them self-discover.
So I need just that segment of what you said so I can post it on my Facebook and all according social media places. Just that one part.
Well, we are recording it, so I'll send you the recording and then you can do that. But yeah, right? Because then they're gonna self-discover, right? Right now they're feeling like, well, maybe I'll wait. Okay, well, if you wait, this is likely going to be what you're waiting for. Is that what you really want? And if they say, I am fine paying a higher payment, then fine. Then you're gonna work on their timetable, but you can help them think through it that way.
Okay,
All right.
that's one.
So does that help punch the ticket?
That helped punches a couple of people's ticket. Yes.
Okay. All right. All right, Miss Debbie, what's your biggest challenge right now?
Oh, I'm not even on mute. I thought I was. Time, always time.
Time. So what is time creating a challenge for you? Tell me about your challenge around time.
Well, it's just everything every time that needs to be done, whether it's personal business, other business, whatever it could be. So things me the other day, and we were discussing this, and we were talking about time with the big we were discussing. I think matter of in my head, I want to do it, and I kind of know my time frame. For instance, I just pulled into the driveway from the Y. I've been gone since 5 o'clock this morning. So I know what to do in my head, but I don't put it on my.
Uh-oh, she pulled in her driveway and we lost her. Well, she'll come back and we'll talk again.
And you're out.
There you are.
To move to something else. Oh, did you lose me?
We lost you and then you came back.
Oh, how long ago did you lose me?
Well, a few minutes. As you were pulling into the driveway.
Oh, okay. So anyway, so in my head, I know what I want to do. I know what needs to be done, and I know, it's going to take some time to do it. But yeah, if it's not, I'm going to say on my calendar, if I don't have in my head that, okay, I'm going to go work from 10:30 to 11:30, and this is what I'm going to do. And then at 11:30 to 1 o'clock, I'm going to do something different. I have a tendency to overrun that time. So at 11:30, I go, oh shoot, just a little bit more. And then it's noon. And then whatever I was supposed to start at 11:30 doesn't get started till noon or, quarter after or whatever. And I made the comment to her about how difficult it was. And she said, it's one of the hardest things in the world to do, to stop and make yourself move on to what it's now time to work on. So I think one of the things I'm going to try to do is not only put it on my calendar, but I think I'm going to start setting timers, so that when my hour is up, my alarm on my phone's going to go off and I will know that it is time to move on to the next thing on my calendar. And then whatever I'm working on, if it's not done yet, then that will just have to be put, till the next day or whatever. So, but mine is time. I'm back to using Jessica because that I definitely could not do myself.
So some leverage helps.
You'll
see a lot of people
yes.
with hourglasses on their desk as well. And that's how they keep track of their time.
Maybe I'll find a cute hourglass. Yeah.
Yep. Another strategy that I've heard is always build yourself a buffer. So let's say you're going to lead generate from 9:30 to 11:30. And then you create a buffer and you start your next activity at noon. So you have that extra half an hour. So if your lead generation runs over, you have a little buffer and then you can stay on track. So if in between each of your time blocks, you left 15-minute buffer or a 30-minute buffer, whatever you needed, then that's a strategy that I had heard in the past as well.
But okay. Well, that makes sense.
Working, see, we have a time block and we need to have a time block. And what we need to start with is what our perfect day would be. So Sean, this would be a really good thing for you, is figuring out, this is my perfect day. This is what a perfect day would look like for me. How many of us are going to be able to have our perfect day every day? What's the likelihood we might even not even get a perfect day in a week? Like maybe once a month, we might get a perfect day in, right? but we have a template of where we need to be. And that's why we have this rule about erase and replace, because then we can move it around as we need to. But if we have our perfect calendar down, then we've made sure we've got all of our big rocks back from where we were talking about. We can make sure we have all of our big rocks covered and on our calendar. Do you guys, let's see, has anybody seen this before? It's in your PC library. I am opening it up. Hang on. I'm also going to put this in the chat so you guys have the link. Oh, no, that's not the 5 to try. That's the different one. This is a habit tracker. I'm just going to show you what I just put in the link because it's not what I was planning on putting in the link, but it's something good. So for the 12 weeks to success, we're working on building habits, the habits that we need to have to be successful in our business. And also we can also build personal habits as well. And so this is just a little habit tracker for the 12 weeks to success. And that's the link that I put in the chat. That wasn't what I intended to link, but since I put it there, I wanted to show it to you. Now let me go back to the one that I really wanted to send a link to. So I'll get you the link for this in a minute, but has anybody seen this 5 to Thrive form before? These are your big rocks for your business and your life a little bit. And that's why I always love this form, is it kept me on track for my big rocks. And so you start off with your affirmation for the day or your bold law or whatever it is. So that's just your little mental me time in your head. And then I love a gratitude practice. So you write down your 5 things you're grateful for. And then you say, what did I do for my skills today? Right? What skills am I working on? My practice and my skills and development. What am I working on? And then we keep track of our conversations. So our lead generation and our text and social media, and then our lead follow-up. This is our lead follow-up right here. And these are our appointments held. So this has all of the things on it that we need, except for negotiate contracts, which if we have appointments, the negotiating contracts just happens, right? We have to do that. But this would keep you focused on your big rocks, your 5 to Thrive, your 5 things that you need, your big rocks for your business. And it's in your PC library. And I am also going to put the link in the chat. So tell me what you see, what you think about that 5 to Thrive.
If I do it, it'll give me a little bit more structure.
It give you structure. Yeah. And then at the end of the day, you could go back and look and see, did I take care of my big rocks today for my business? So what happens if we end up, Shauna, you mentioned that you've got 10 people you're showing houses to, and you're showing houses all the time. What happens when those 10 people are done? Have you been putting more people in your pipeline so you're going to have future business? You're muted again, dear. I can't hear you.
So yeah, so I pay for a referral service that has, been providing, great leads. And I've also developed some leads in the community. So yeah, I have, but I need, but what's it, and or connect. I'm not putting my leads in there. Lead generation? I'm not doing that.
Your command, yeah.
Yeah, I need to now that's where I am. I really need to pick up my pace with that. I really need to do better with, doing those things to help me stay better at what I'm doing. I do.
Organize. It's gonna seem like that's busy work and time away from your business, but it's gonna create time savings for you in the future. And also make sure you don't let anybody fall through the cracks, right? We don't want to let people fall through the cracks. So answer this for me. Does anybody here have an issue, a hard time with the habit of making sure that we lead generate every day? Is that something, a lot of people, what they do is that's the one thing that they don't get done when they get busy. Melissa, you raised your hand. So when you get busy, you have a tendency to overrun that part of your calendar.
Yes.
So what's a solution for that?
I need more structure. I need more structure for myself. and
think
follow through.
So what would that structure look like, Melissa?
Just, I have things on my calendar. I just need to stick to them and not let distractions, really try to focus in on making sure I'm doing it every single day.
Okay, so what happens when you don't get your lead generation in?
I will not have business.
What happens when you don't have business?
I will get stressed out.
You'll get stressed out. Are you somebody who is more motivated by pain or pleasure, Melissa?
I don't know.
Well, if there is a award of what's something that would be very challenging for you to do? How about run a 5K?
Yeah.
Okay, if you need to run a 5K and there is $1,000 at the finish line for you, or a punishment for not doing it if you don't do it.
$1,000.
So you're a reward person, not a punishment person.
Yeah.
So pleasure motivates you more than pain, than resisting pain. Okay, so you like pleasure. So what kind of reward could you give yourself if you, for instance, did your lead generation 5 days in a row?
I don't know, but it sounds exciting to get a little reward.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm already excited.
What would motivate you that on Wednesday you thought, ooh, I'm going to get my reward on Saturday if I get these last 3 days of lead generation and let me make my calls? What would be something that you could give yourself that would bring you a reward in your life, that would be something that would be motivating?
Some sort of like relaxing thing for me, or some pampering.
Oh, awesome. Okay, what kind of relaxing thing? What would be a good self-care thing that you could do for yourself if you did 5 days of lead generation?
A pedicure.
A pedicure. Okay.
That would be nice.
All right. So how many days in a row do you want to do your lead generation so that you can reward yourself with a pedicure?
I guess 5.
So 5 days.
That would be
All
a
right.
start.
Did you lead generate yesterday or are we starting today?
We're starting today.
Starting today. So
Yeah.
starting today, 5 days of lead generation. Now, are you counting the weekends or are you just only counting weekdays?
I would count weekends because I work on the weekends too. So.
Okay. So if you lead generate today through Saturday, then on Sunday you earn a pedicure. All right. So Lily, Donna, Debbie, Jay, and I are all going to hold you accountable and root for you so that you can get your pedicure next weekend on the weekend.
Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna do it too. I want a pedicure too.
You want a pedicure too? All
I
right.
want a pedicure. I want to go.
Yay.
All right. So 5 days of lead generation and we have pedicures.
Nice.
All right. Shauna didn't jump in on that. I don't know if are you in on this one too? Oh, you're muted again, dear.
what on the pedicures,
Yeah.
of holding her accountable or us getting our own.
Oh, you
pedicures?
want to, Jay wants a pedicure too. So he's going to do 5 days. Debbie wants a pedicure. So she's going to do 5 days. We're all going to have rewards.
Okay, sure. Yeah, absolutely. I need to
Oh, I
take
thought
time.
we were
to-
just. I thought we were just going with Melissa. I didn't know we had to do lead gen for 5
Oh, yeah,
You have
days.
to do the work.
No, I thought we were just keeping her company. Oh, okay.
You can do 5 days of lead generation, Debbie.
You
I
know
can
what,
do it.
but-
I can do it.
Or is it 5? If you do you no, and so this is a question I want to ask. So is 5 days, is that recommended? Because I want to, like, for example, for me, I have one day, like once a month is not going to be probably good, but like once a month, I pay my credit card bill. Every Tuesday at 6 a.m., I get up and I pay my credit card bills. Even if they're not due, I just pay them just so that I know that I have this day that I set aside, that once a month of the month, the first Tuesday of the month, I get up, pay my credit card bills, and I have that on my calendar, and I do that religiously so that I know I won't ever forget. So, I mean, I guess with lead generation, if I could have like one day that I set aside that I know that this is the time of the day that I'm going to do that, or is it 5 days recommended? I'm asking.
Well, Shauna, how many people do you have in your oh, you don't have any people in your database yet?
I do. I have about maybe 10, about 10, the people that I'm working with right now, because I use them because I use DocuSign. So I add them to the command or connect, and then they're in the database. And there's maybe about 2 or 3 more that may be in there that I'm not working with right now.
Jay, what were you gonna say?
I would just say, you said, Shauna, you said your husband's a pastor of a church. So your lead generation is just you every day, just telling somebody in the congregation that you're also a realtor. And it doesn't have to be, 5 or 10 people. It could just be one person anywhere that you go. You're at a lead generating place all the time. So when you said it, I was like, man, she could just go see her husband at the church and just say something to one person every day for the next 5 days, and that's her 5 days of lead generation.
Okay. From that perspective, yeah, but I'm talking about what I was meaning is, when do we have to, add it into that database is what I'm more concerned about, I guess. But that's true. That's true too. But I'm thinking about the database, how am I holding myself accountable in terms of like putting the things in the database? That's what I'm asking.
Let me ask you a question. If you left that to do once a month, do you think that might be an overwhelming task to do once?
No, not once a month. I was saying I do my credit card once a month. I'm thinking dedicate once a week
to database work. Absolutely. So you want to lead generate. We want to make sure that we're constantly having like Jay is talking about. We're constantly having conversations with people, reminding them that we're in real estate and we'd love to help them. Right. So that's lead generation. We want to be very intentional about that and have some time on our calendar to make sure we're actually doing that. But Shauna, if it doesn't work for you to do that 5 days a week, then when I first started, I had 2 jobs. I had another job. Right. And so I had to do my lead generation different than everybody else. I did my lead generation Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I could not fit it in my schedule. It just didn't fit. So I did my lead generation Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I did 4 to 5 open houses a week. And that's how I built my business to the point where I could leave my other job. But that's what worked for me. So you have to figure out what works with you. That's why we go back to, this is what a perfect schedule would look like for me. And maybe I'm only going to lead generate Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Lily, as the babies grow, maybe you're going to have some days that you're going to have help with the babies, and some days you're not going to have help with the babies. And the day that you don't have help with the babies, maybe you only get to work on your business during nap time. Right. And so then maybe you have a couple days a week where you get more time than just nap time. And so you got to figure out what your perfect schedule looks like. So Shauna, you have to figure out what works for you so that you can take care of all those big rocks and what that looks like for you. If that helps. So I wanted to talk.
Okay, that's good. And I like that. And so, and I'm really, because I'm still fairly new and I'm still trying to understand the processes, like lead generation. It wasn't until, what's the gentleman's name? What he said made a lot of sense. And I didn't even think about it from that perspective.
Yeah.
What Jay said, that is lead generation. And so at that point, these people that I'm talking to, they become a lead at that point. And then that's when I would maybe put them into my database.
Well, you need to put in your database, you need to put, Shauna, everyone you know in your database. So every contact in your phone, every Facebook friend, every LinkedIn contact, every Instagram, I don't know, what do you call it on Instagram? I don't know, followy, I don't know what you call it on there. I'm not an Instagram person. You want to put all those people in your command, because these are the people that you're going to communicate with on a regular basis. Shauna, if you were to join the 12 Weeks to Success, this week, our play for the 12 Weeks to Success is we learn who to call every week, and we break it down into little bite-sized pieces. So this week, everybody is reaching out to people who have the last name that begins with an A or the last name that begins with a W. And then next week, what we're going to talk about is smart plans. So smart plans is a way that your command can communicate with your database, the people that you put in there for you, automatically. So that takes some time off your plate. That's our play for next week. And then we're going to do social media and some different things. What this all boils down to in the end is habits. And yesterday on a call with Jason Abrams, and you guys have seen this already because I was in love with this yesterday. And this whiteboard, you gotta bear with me because I learned this morning I can change the color. Isn't that pretty cool? I can change the color. Now I can draw in red. I'm learning all these new skills, right? So anyways, Jason Abrams drew this graph yesterday and asked us, did we know what that was? And what this is what happens to most people when they try to build a habit. Because they start down here and they go way up here high and they can't sustain it and they fall down because it takes too much energy to make a big habit change, like a big, huge habit change. So I've been thinking about this. I was thinking about this last night. I wanted to share this with you. I found this yesterday. I remember reading a book called Atomic Habits. And if you ever the author's name is James Clear, and it is an awesome book. And he talks about habits and how we build habits. Do you agree with me that if we had habits every day around our big rocks, then they were actually habits? Like, think about brushing your teeth. Does everybody here, brushing your teeth is one that most people have. What happens when you miss a day brushing your teeth? You brush your teeth at night and you go to bed and you forgot to brush your teeth. What happens?
You jump out of bed and brush your teeth.
Yeah, for me, I have to get up and go brush my teeth. Like, it's a habit.
Yeah.
It has to happen. It's an absolute has to happen habit, right? So if you build the habits around your big rocks, then you're not going to have those days where you fall off, right? Where you fall off of it. So that is what we want to work towards habits. But if we try to do great big habits, like we're not calling anybody, and all of a sudden we say we're going to set a habit of calling 30 people a day. How long do you think that's going to last? A day, two, something like that? So this was really great. I love this, the power of tiny gains. And it's another graph, but I don't have to draw it. So that's a good thing. You guys can see it better when I don't have to draw it. But on the top line here, what you have is what happens when you just try to be 1% better every day. And we've talked about this, Melissa. I know this was a big thing for you for a while. We talked about this a lot. But if you just get 1% better every day, look at the arc of that and how we get better. And then I also think it's interesting, the 1% worse every day, the converse of that, it doesn't fall off as bad. We have to give ourselves a little grace. I think that's what that bottom line shows, is that sometimes we have to give ourselves grace. But we need to look at what have we been doing. And those of you that were in the 12 weeks last go around, Keen sent to you yesterday actually what your commitment was for the last round of the 12 weeks and what you actually did. And so I want to encourage you this time, when you set your commitments for this round of the 12 weeks, think about this. Think about the power of tiny gains and how could you just incrementally get better at it instead of trying to do it all, right? All at once. How could you get incrementally better at it? And then the other graph that I thought was really interesting is this is the energy, this is why tiny gains are easier to sustain than big, huge ones, because it's the energy that is required to create that new habit. And if you look at the tiny gains here at the bottom, right? One push-up. I can do one push-up a day. That doesn't require a whole lot of energy on my part, right? It's not a big deal. So that's going to be here. I don't have to do it. But if I have to put in a lot of energy and do 100 push-ups a day, how many days in a row do you think I can do 100 push-ups? So Melissa, what we were just talking about, making sure that we lead generate every day. What is a tiny gain for you? What would be a sustainable number over 5 days so you could get your pedicure? Do we go from 0 to 50 conversations a day? Or do we go from, I'm not doing it at all, to I'm going to do it for 30 minutes. 30 minutes a day, I'm going to do it for 30 minutes a day. And then can we build on that? So think about that when you think about what habits that you might need to build for yourselves. So when you think about that, Lily, what's a habit that might be good for you to build for yourself as you're getting back into your business? sitting babies on your lap?
Yeah.
Are they
two of
both
them
on
are-
your lap?
Yeah.
Look at that. Oh my gosh, you've just made my day. How does one have so much hair and the other one doesn't?
That's crazy, huh?
Oh, so which, tell me their names. Which one is which?
This one is Dawn and this one is Jind.
Oh, goodness. They have those cheeks that just make you want to go, ooh.
Yeah.
All right. So other than those babies, what kind of habit can you put in place for yourself around your business if you're just thinking about it?
I mean, just starting, just doing something, like you said, just, at least blocking out 30 minutes a day to concentrate on it and to get started,
I love it.
Especially now. I mean, my in-laws aren't here yet, but they should be here within the next couple of weeks, and then I can do a little bit more, but I can at least, start.
Start 30 minutes. I love it. And here's another thing. What happens? Let's go back to my teeth brushing example. What happens if you have a habit of brushing your teeth and you miss one day? Do you just say, oh, well, I blew that, and you never brush your teeth again? Or do you just jump right back into your habit? Right? Your kids, I know, Melissa, what your kids are going to want to do. They're going to say, I don't have to brush my teeth anymore, right? But that's the kid. I think kids and brushing teeth are a really good example of what happens. I imagine, I don't remember, but I imagine that my mom had to fuss at me a lot to get me to brush my teeth, right? Then there was a period of time where she told me I needed to stop brushing my teeth so much that I was going to brush them down the nubs, right? And then I evened out, and I got into a system where I brushed my teeth 3 times a day, right? But there was a part where it was challenging. And so that's just the way habits are, right? Now, we have other habits that we have every day that we don't even realize we have habits. And in that book, Atomic Habits, that I mentioned by James Cleary, talks about habit stacking. And so, for instance, what's the first thing that you do when you get out of bed every day?
Go to the bathroom.
Go to the bathroom. That's what I do. The first thing I get out of bed is I have to go to the bathroom. That's a habit, but I didn't consciously develop that habit, right? It's a habit that developed out of need, right? I mean, it's a habit. It happens every morning, right? And if I miss it, it's going to not be good. It's going to be a problem. So you can think about the funny little habits that you have all throughout the day. Now, if you know that's an automatic habit, something that's going to happen automatically if you stack another habit with it. So I don't know what this would look like, but what could you, I don't know. So you know that you're going to go to the bathroom every morning as soon as you get up, and you put your 5 to Thrive on the counter right beside the toilet. So the very second thing that you do every day is you look at your 5 to Thrive form. Maybe that's a habit stack, right? And it's always there, so it would always be there for you. That's probably not the best example, but it's the one that came in my mind right now. So, because we came up with bathroom, and that probably wasn't where we really wanted to start. But it worked out that way, so we do that. All right. So Melissa, what kind of habit could you create for yourself around your 5 days of lead generation in a row so we could get your pedicure?
Doing the 30 minutes is a very easy achievable goal, because like I think Jay mentioned too, I am lead generating more than I realize, even if it's not formal. Like today I'm meeting a friend and we will talk about real estate. That's a little bit of lead generation, but in my head it doesn't feel like it. It feels like, oh, I'm meeting with a friend, so doing a small structured amount of lead generation mixed in with my random I'm meeting up with people and talking about real estate would be a good mix for me.
Okay. I love it. So 30 minutes.
Yeah. So it doesn't feel like, you're
3
supposed
hours.
to lead generate for 2 hours every day. For me, I'm like, 2 hours is a lot of time when I have a million other things I have to do also. But 30 minutes seems doable.
I love that. All right. Jay's on the phone. Debbie, what kind of little habit can you create for yourself? What kind of habit can you create for yourself that's going to help you with your time issues?
I think that making a reminder, like whether it's an alarm or something like that, that will make me realize, okay, this is your cutoff point So now it's time to move on to something else, maybe I could snooze, give myself 5 minutes to finish up what I'm in the middle of and then move on to something else. The other big thing that really makes a difference when I make myself do it is you only ever handle something one time. So if you pick it up, you have to do something with it. You can't just set it aside. Or I find myself with 4 or 5 things going and nothing accomplished. So that's the other thing that I need to force myself into doing and remind myself to do is if I pick it up, if I look at an email, then I have to take care of the email. I can't be curious and see what the next one's about. If I pick up a note off my desk that I need to do something with, I can't go, oh, I wonder what that one underneath it is, and move on to that one. I have to deal with the one that I have in hand until it's complete and then move on to the next one.
I love that. All
Debbie,
right, Jay, how about you? What kind of habit can you create for yourself that helps you with your challenge of getting your big challenge, which is getting these people onboarded? Or whatever challenge you want to have a habit around.
The main thing is starting the habit. Is starting the process of doing it and then starting it, time blocking it, and doing it on the days that I need to do it. And which is really with everything that I need to do is put everything on my schedule, calendarize it, schedule it, and do it on those particular days and times. I will say, I will tell Shauna, with the whole PC coach and how we first started off. We first started off with the A&Ws. When I first started doing that, I didn't get it. Then the second time I took the class, I did, and it worked. And by the third time, those people who I start calling on certain days and times, they would look forward for me to call them. So I think I need to get back to really just doing my process and sticking to it. Be, like I always say, be aggressive on myself to do the things that I need to do to keep the roller coaster effect. I don't mind actually going up and down.
We're gonna ride a
You know,
flat roller coaster instead of this.
Yeah, I don't mind going like this. I don't mind like this. I just hate it like this. This is killing me. This straight line of just going around in a circle like this is killing me. And when we going up and down, I don't mind it. I don't mind a little fun. But it's, like right now, I was telling Melissa, I don't like listings because it's boring. I like buyers. I like to go show 3 or 4 or 20 houses and not getting them and coming up with different situations of why you didn't get it. I like that part. I feel engaged. Listings is
I'll take your
boring.
listings. I'll take your listings.
I already called dibs.
Oh, shoot.
I'll
Okay,
share.
well, when Melissa gets too many, Melissa, I'll take your listings. So
Yeah, that's funny.
I just need to be a little bit more proactive on making sure that I keep with the process.
As the market changes, listings will be more challenging. I've already noticed people are advertising and reverse marketing, like emailing, advertising their listing, whereas before I never got any of that stuff.
Oh, we staged a house over in Franklin Township that is gorgeous and it's still on the market. And I just am stunned. To me, that is really an indication of what's happening in the market because it's a 375, big, pretty little part in Wolf Run, and it's
Oh, wow, Wolf Run.
yeah. Look it up. Find a buyer for it. It's 10608 Dunes Court, and we staged it like 2 weeks ago, and it's still pending or still on the market. Not pending. All right, guys. Well, was this helpful? You got some ideas on some habits.
Yeah.
We're going to figure out how we're all going to get pedicures. I'm going to keep track, and we're going to keep track about 5 days of lead generation in a row so we can all earn a reward.
Hey, I was going to tell Debbie, I have 2 suggestions for you for your problem. One,
Okay.
if you have an iPhone, if you put in the alarms, you can label the alarms if you do the same thing at the same time every day. Like,
Right.
Lead generation at noon, your alarm will go off and it'll say lead generation. But also, I use Alexa behind me, and she sends out loud reminders like every day, like when my son needs his medicine, when the bus is coming, like key points. She'll just be like, this is a reminder, the bus is coming, so they know they have 5 minutes to get their butts out the door and down the street. But
that's a good idea.
We don't have to think about it or constantly look at the clock. I like those alarms.
That's a good idea, but putting a label on, I knew you could do that on your iPhone. I never thought about that, but that would be helpful too, because then you would know what it was you're supposed to be doing next.
Yeah.
So
When I
that's
was
a good idea.
coaching, I put like warm-up, dribbling, or offense, defense, so I would know when to switch. Because we needed to do more than one task. So I did that
Right.
during my coaching days.
Okay, thanks.
Very good. All right, well, you guys are all South Office. I don't get to be on with you guys today for the partner meeting. However, it's going to be a really good one. Although Jay, it's going to be all about listings. So maybe you can find out, because I know the panel is amazing. Mark Coffey is on the panel. And if you guys have been around Mark Coffey, he's awesome. Lorraine is on the panel and she's just a rock star. So your partner meeting is from 11 to 12. I hope this was helpful. Get you thinking about some habits that you need.
Yeah.
Awesome, guys.
It was. All
Have
right,
a
thanks,
great
Carla.
day. And Laura's on at 5 if you need anything for open office hours.
Bye.
Lily, it was great to see you and the babies.
Yes, they are so cute.
Yeah, good to be here. Thanks.
See you later.